before thought shapes. Reality, awareness, already holds limitless potential. This innate ability of consciousness can expand perception beyond ordinary waking states. It arises when attention turns inward and the body relaxes enough to release its grip on physical sensations. The experience occurs without external tools or prescribed rituals, relying only on focused intent. Such expansion reveals a deeper layer of self that remains hidden in daily awareness. When this broader perspective is accessed, insight emerges effortlessly, reshaping how one relates to thought and emotion. Returning to everyday life carries a quiet confidence that the unseen realm remains accessible at will. The mind retains this openness as a subtle undercurrent of possibility. In this state, the boundary between inner and outer softens naturally. The physical form anchors perception and tangible sensation. Beyond that, an astral counterpart exists as a subtle vehicle for experience. Together, they enable consciousness to inhabit distinct realms of awareness. Recognizing this duality grants the mind a broader canvas for intention and growth. Through this view, experience becomes a flow of intention and response. In that space, awareness settles into stillness, ready to move without resistance. The distinction invites curiosity rather than judgment, allowing exploration to unfold naturally. When attention rests on the separation, the mind learns to navigate between worlds with ease. This understanding becomes a foundation for deeper inquiry, not a destination. It simply reminds the listener that reality comprises multiple layers of experience. When the mind pauses, stillness becomes evident. Out of body, travel has been honored as a sacred practice across ages. It denotes the ability of consciousness to move beyond the physical frame while awake. Such honor implies that the experience holds intrinsic value beyond mere curiosity. When regarded as skillful, it guides seekers toward deeper self, recognition and inner clarity. The notion invites respect for hidden dimensions of perception. It encourages disciplined preparation and careful return to the physical form. Such reverence supports ethical use of the experience without attachment to outcomes. Practice cultivates focus, patience, and reverence for subtle currents. Integration grounds the insight into everyday action. The return consolidates learning within ordinary routine. Take a breath and let the idea settle quietly. Before thought, awareness already exists. Modern science treats out-of-body experience as a neurocognitive pattern that can be studied. It views the phenomenon as brain activity that correlates with altered perception. This framing shifts focus from supernatural escape to cognitive process. It describes the phenomenon as neural states that can be observed and measured. Measurements show changes in neural networks associated with self-reference and body schema. Why this view expands personal agency by showing that conscious direction can influence internal states. It invites systematic investigation of how intention shapes perception beyond ordinary limits. Consequently, practitioners may develop skills that integrate mental discipline with physiological regulation. The concept rests as a quiet invitation to observe the mind's subtle capacities. It offers a space for reflection without judgment or expectation. The faint rhythm that most ignore in daily life. Intentional out. Off-body experiences expand personal agency and self-understanding. They open a realm where choice arises beyond ordinary limitation. This widening of influence creates a clearer sense of personal purpose. Such expansion invites the mind to question the limits of ordinary perception. It opens space for choices that align more closely with authentic desire. It also nurtures steadiness that supports clearer inner direction. This steadiness helps the mind act with greater purpose in daily life. The experience deepens awareness of inner motivations and hidden drives. It cultivates a subtle confidence that guides daily actions. Such confidence subtly shapes daily actions. The inner landscape becomes a guide rather than a backdrop. With each return, the mind integrates new perspectives into routine tasks. This integration fosters a quiet confidence that persists beyond the journey. Beneath every breath, lies a silent field of awareness. The silver cord is portrayed as an energetic tether linking the visible body with its unseen counterpart. This connection binds the material form to the non-physical vehicle of experience. When this tether remains intact, movement beyond the flesh feels anchored rather than disorienting. The tether thus serves as a subtle guide shaping each journey. It reinforces the notion that consciousness possesses an inherent bridge. You may notice a subtle pull guiding the return. This continuity supports integration of insights once physical awareness returns. In the stillness after return, the tether remains a quiet reminder of dual existence. Its presence steadies the mind, allowing further contemplation without urgency. The subtle bond persists as a constant reference for deeper inquiry. The breath you barely notice. Intention is the silent catalyst that initiates projection. It draws focus away from ordinary sensation and toward latent possibility. The shift makes separation possible in practice. Without clear intent, the separation remains dormant and inaccessible for the seeker. With purposeful intention, the mind releases its hold and steps into the unseen. When purpose aligns with inner will, focus deepens. Such alignment indicates readiness for further exploration. The inner drive sharpens focus as intention deepens. This clarity removes doubt and permits progression. The resulting experience expands awareness beyond physical limits. It allows insight, healing, and creative exploration to emerge naturally. The quiet that follows settles the notion without further commentary. The stillness contains potential for future discovery. Your breath, unnoticed, grounds the body in quiet awareness. Deep relaxation lowers physiological arousal, allowing consciousness to loosen its grip on the physical form. The body settles into a calm rhythm and tension eases away. In this softened state, the sense of self can drift beyond the skin without resistance. The subtle currents of awareness become clearer when attention rests lightly. This opening creates space for inner travel, allowing insight to arise from a place of stillness. The mind, freed from tight arousal, expands into a broader field of perception. A gentle intention guides the departing awareness toward a chosen focus within the inner landscape. The return follows naturally as the body reasserts its rhythm, bringing back clarity to everyday life. You feel the shift as a gentle widening. Feel the breath that quietly holds awareness in each moment. As subtle shifts begin, this quiet pulse provides a reference for inner navigation. The breath serves as the simplest tool to tether attention when consciousness expands. By listening to each inhalation and exhalation, scattered thoughts settle into a clear space. This rhythm gently aligns body and mind. This steady focus prevents the mind from wandering into fragmented narratives during emergence. It creates a stable space from which intention can be explored without losing direction. When attention remains anchored, the emerging state retains its clarity and purpose. The practice invites a gentle return to presence each time awareness drifts. Rest in the stillness that follows the breath. Clash of the moment to simply be. The body holds a quiet doorway that can open beyond ordinary feeling. Creative muscle release loosens tension throughout the physical frame. When muscles soften, awareness can drift outward from the flesh. In this state, separation feels natural rather than forced. The body releases its grip, inviting consciousness to step aside. Each relaxed limb becomes a bridge toward detachment. Muscles unwind like ropes, loosening their knots. Each released tension creates space for the subtle body to lift. The space holds the possibility of gentle emergence. Consciousness steps forward, guided by the softened form. The breath deepens as the body surrenders its hold. In this quiet, the imagined boundary thins. The invitation remains open beyond the physical frame. The doorway stays ready for future return. Focus on the subtle threshold beyond your present perception. That image serves as an exit point, such as a doorway or rope that marks the departure of awareness. It creates a clear landmark through which consciousness can step outward. This visual anchor steadies breath and quiets mental chatter. This steadiness deepens the trance, making the shift feel natural. It allows the mind to release attachment to physical boundaries. The process reinforces confidence in the ability to depart and return. It also cultivates patience as the transition unfolds gradually. The imagined opening becomes a stable reference for shifting perception. Your attention follows the path, leaving ordinary limits behind. The mind rests in the imagined doorway, poised for movement. The scene settles into quiet readiness, ready for exploration without further instruction. The quiet before breath returns holds the seed of deeper focus. Counting backwards slows the mind and deepens the trance. This shift moves awareness away from ordinary perception toward a focused inner space. It creates a gentle pull that draws attention inward, preparing for projection. The practice steadies the nervous system, allowing subtle layers to surface. It opens a pathway where thought softens and intention becomes clear. From this calm center, the journey can unfold without strain. Each descending number settles the breath further, inviting stillness. This subtle invitation releases tension while maintaining alert awareness. The resulting state supports a smooth transition toward inner exploration. It nurtures the capacity to observe without attachment or judgment. In this space, the mind remains poised, ready for deeper inquiry. The present moment is always available. It waits without demand for your notice. Breathe moves silently beneath thought. Repeating a simple phrase steadies wandering thoughts. It creates a rhythm that holds attention steady as awareness lifts. The sound of the words holds attention steady in shifting states. The vibration spreads steadily through awareness. The repetition grounds intention into the subtle field. The mind returns to center each time the phrase ends. When focus remains firm, deeper exploration opens without strain. It allows insight to travel beyond ordinary limits. The practice nurtures confidence in the unseen realm. Brain expands as attention steadies. You notice how the mind steadies when the chant repeats. Let the rhythm settle into calm awareness. The space holds stillness. Fixation frames what the mind will encounter. When attention turns inward, it colors every subtle scene that follows. The shape of an astral landscape mirrors inner hopes and hidden fears alike. Because expectation functions as amends, outcomes cannot be measured by ordinary standards alone. This realization matters because intention precedes perception in the unseen realm. It shows how inner tone determines the texture of every encountered environment. This pattern reveals how subtle intention shapes external detail. When expectation is clear, the astral realm responds in kind. Conversely, vague longing produces fragmented or shifting scenery. Awareness of this connection empowers deliberate exploration without force. No further explanation follows, only a space for observation. The listener may rest in this simple truth without seeking answers. Such stillness allows the mind to integrate insight naturally. Over time, understanding deepens without effort. Before any journey begins, the body holds its own silent map. The astral double is a mutable replica of the physical form used for travel. It shifts shape to match the intent of movement. When this copy departs, perception expands beyond ordinary limits. It can navigate unseen spaces while the body rests quietly. The traveler watches without effort, guided by will alone. this state, time feels fluid and distance irrelevant. Because it is a copy, it may appear altered, yet still remains recognizable. When awakening occurs, the echo of that journey lingers in memory. The insight gained can be carried into waking life. Thus the mutable double serves as a bridge between worlds. It invites deep exploration without fear. The energetic bond persists beneath conscious notice. Detaching the astral body requires focused will to release its energetic bond. A steady concentration steadies attention, permitting release of the energetic bond. This release allows consciousness to step beyond ordinary perception. It matters because, without deliberate surrender, the bond remains anchored, restricting expansion. When the bond loosens, perception expands into realms that ordinary senses cannot access. Each successful detachment cultivates confidence in the mind's ability to transcend material limits. A quiet stillness follows, inviting integration of insight into daily awareness. Patience nurtures the gradual weakening of the bond, allowing smoother transitions over time. When the connection finally yields, the seeker experiences a brief expansion of self beyond ordinary limits. The experience leaves a lingering sense of openness. Beyond the familiar world lies a deeper layer of reality. Crossing the threshold initiates a shift in perception. The mind moves beyond ordinary sensory boundaries. In this state, awareness accesses a layered astral plane. Such transition expands the scope of experience. It invites exploration without predetermined outcomes. The shift reveals that consciousness can inhabit multiple dimensions simultaneously. This realization challenges assumptions about the limits of self. It underscores the importance of intention in navigating subtle realms. The experience settles into quiet awareness. The layered plane responds to subtle intention. Each step deeper reveals new textures of awareness. The journey remains open, inviting further inquiry. Attention settles into the expansive field without effort. Presence becomes the guiding anchor in this realm. When breath eases, awareness opens beyond the skin. In that expanded state, the mind's present tone shapes the surrounding field. Calmness produces orderly surroundings. Agitation produces disordered surroundings. The environment does not invent scenery. It simply reproduces the inner mood as visible pattern. This reproduction makes the unseen realm a direct mirror of what resides within. Because the mirror shows exactly what is held. Any shift in feeling instantly alters the surrounding scene. Recognizing this link invites the practitioner to cultivate inner stillness as a means of refining outer experience. The practice therefore becomes a subtle discipline of emotional stewardship rather than mere visual exploration. Over time, the repeated observation settles into a quiet, knowing that the outer world reflects the inner state without judgment. Attention first settles on purpose. When you define a clear aim, your inner direction aligns with that focus. It channels attention toward outcomes that resonate with deeper intent. The aim clarifies the direction of inner exploration. It aligns perception with purposeful intent. Purpose anchors the journey in resonant clarity. Such alignment ensures each venture serves a meaningful goal. It guides the subtle journey toward experiences that hold lasting significance. This direction shapes the terrain encountered during travel. The purpose remains as your anchor in the subtle realms. It steadies movement through layered realms. The clarity of aim becomes a steady compass within the field. Each step reflects the original intention. The purpose lingers as a quiet presence after return. The quiet foundation that holds all movement. When intention sets a symbolic anchor, it becomes a steady guide through shifting inner landscapes. Such anchors let awareness settle on familiar points even as surroundings change. They preserve clarity when complexity threatens to overwhelm. These reference points are not merely ideas, but live touchstones that anchor perception. Through them, the mind can navigate intricate inner terrain without becoming disoriented. They matter because they anchor the journey through complex inner landscapes. When anchored, perception steadies even as thoughts multiply. The stability they provide allows deeper exploration without fear of losing direction. Such steadiness invites a calm acceptance of whatever arises within the terrain. The mind rests in this anchored stillness as new horizons unfold. Silent intention precedes all spoken exchange. When attention narrows, intent forms a direct thread between consciousness and unseen beings. That thread is not metaphor, but the very mode of interaction described as intention-based dialogue. It matters because purpose shapes the quality and direction of every encounter. Purpose aligns intent with the fabric of unseen realms. Such alignment deepens the channel of exchange. Without clear intent, the connection remains vague or inaccessible. With focused intent, the meeting becomes intentional and meaningful. The mind settles into a receptive state, allowing exchange to unfold naturally. No further instruction is required. Simply rest in the quiet after intention is spoken. The lingering resonance continues to inform subtle perception. Such alignment invites deeper exploration of inner landscapes without external reference. Each encounter leaves an imprint that guides subsequent inner work. Over time, the practice refines the ability to direct intent with precision. Awareness of intention precedes all conscious movement. When you honor another's autonomy, a clear ethical boundary forms in every interaction. This respect defines the limits within which influence may safely flow. It sustains harmony by preventing intrusion and preserving mutual dignity. Consistent respect transforms interactions into spaces of genuine exchange. Such clarity invites deeper connection while safeguarding individual freedom. When boundaries are honored, the flow of influence remains balanced and mutually empowering. This alignment nurtures trust, allowing each interaction to unfold with integrity. Respectful boundaries protect both giver and receiver from hidden pressures. The resulting environment supports honest growth without fear of domination. When integrity guides exchange, the atmosphere remains open and receptive. Let the quiet awareness settle, inviting steady presence in all exchanges. Energy moves beneath the surface of your being. When intention meets subtle currents, imbalance loosens and harmony returns. The subtle body holds patterns that shape physical health and emotional tone. Healing these patterns restores flow through hidden pathways. Each release deepens alignment between breath, thought, and feeling. This realignment supports vitality, clarity, and inner resilience. A quiet space opens where resistance dissolves without effort. Balanced energy nurtures natural repair within the body. When flow returns, emotional weight lightens and mental fog clears. The practice invites observation of subtle shifts without judgment. Over time, these shifts become a stable foundation for growth. This grounding allows daily life to reflect deeper alignment and calm. The subtle field continues to integrate, supporting ongoing balance. Beyond the body lies a broader realm of thought. When awareness steps past bodily constraints, new solutions arise. This shift opens perspectives that ordinary perception cannot reach. The mind expands its capacity, generating ideas hidden to physical limits. Such expansion matters because it transforms how challenges are approached and resolved. It invites consideration of untapped potential beyond everyday thinking. Gentle return to the present settles the reflection without closure. Consciousness stretches beyond the limits of the physical form, reaching into realms of possibility. Each new viewpoint can resolve a problem that seemed fixed within ordinary bounds. The process does not require extraordinary abilities. It simply requires willingness to look deeper. When this occurs, solutions appear as natural extensions of expanded awareness. This understanding can guide practical application in daily life. The faint pulse of intention quietly anchors every focused venture. Projection allows consciousness to travel beyond the limits of ordinary perception. When that expanded reach is used to shape external events without permission, it breaches the ethical framework. Such manipulation disregards the autonomy of other experiences within the shared field. It creates imbalance, pulling energy toward control rather than understanding. The resulting distortion weakens the integrity of the projected self and its surroundings. Maintaining respectful boundaries preserves the purpose of exploration as growth. Violating those boundaries invites fragmentation and loss of alignment with deeper intent. The inner compass flags such deviation as discordant. The signal invites correction before deeper harm unfolds. Return to stillness and let the implications settle without further commentary. Your daily duties are the quiet foundation you rarely notice. When desire clings too tightly, the tasks that ground you begin to fade. That fading erodes your capacity to act fully in the world. It also weakens the sense of wholeness that comes from balanced effort. The mind then seeks comfort in familiar patterns rather than growth. Such patterns tighten the grip of attachment and deepen the loss. In that space, shift focus toward purposeful action. Counsel the insight to settle without urging change. The subtle weight of habit can mask deeper integration. When it is recognized, the path forward remains open. Maintaining awareness of this dynamic supports steady engagement. Over time, responsibility becomes a steady companion rather than a burden. The ordinary moments you overlook anchor lasting insight. Grounding transforms expansive insight into practical routine. Daily tasks reinforce the broader view. It requires gentle repetition, turning fleeting awareness into steady habit. It invites the practitioner to notice subtle cues in ordinary moments. Each small action reinforces integration. It matters because ungrounded insight does not settle into lasting practice, and purpose remains unfocused. The grounded mind navigates ordinary challenges with expanded perspective. It sustains purpose, allowing insight to support rather than distract from everyday responsibilities. When grounded, the mind perceives patterns that guide purposeful action. Such clarity supports ethical choices and balanced living. It also nurtures resilience in the face of routine demands. The result is a steady integration of insight into daily conduct. The practice ends not with a conclusion, but with presence. It rests in stillness. The first breath after return carries the freshest impressions. Writing at once records those fleeting details before they evaporate. The act locks the subtle texture of thought, emotion, and sensation into a tangible form. Each entry becomes a snapshot that preserves nuance lost to ordinary recollection. The record serves as a compass that points back to the exact texture of the experience. By capturing the moment, the mind secures a reference point for future exploration. When you capture the moment, insights gain clarity that raw memory cannot sustain. The written trace anchors intention, allowing later reflection to deepen understanding. Hold the page gently and let it rest. The preserved details become anchors that guide subsequent journeys with purpose. Notice the subtle gap between what you see and what is real. Reality checks serve as gentle probes that question each moment of ordinary awareness. They sharpen the ability to discern illusion from presence. The repeated practice builds a resilient inner faculty that supports deeper exploration. When perception is continually examined, the mind learns to settle into clarity without reliance on external validation. This cultivated discernment reduces automatic acceptance of habitual patterns, allowing intentional direction of attention. The gentle rhythm of checking continues, each return reinforcing the habit. The practice settles like calm water, inviting further inquiry at its own pace. In this quiet space, the mind rests, open to whatever arises next. In this quiet space, the mind rests, open to whatever arises next. The breath returns, grounding awareness in the present moment. Notice the stillness beneath everyday motion. Each projection functions as an experiment in consciousness exploration. It invites you to observe how awareness separates from bodily constraints when intention is set aside. The test reveals how perception shifts when attention moves inward without reliance on sensory input. Such observation expands personal agency, deepens self-understanding beyond ordinary limits. The experiment serves as a map for navigating inner terrain with greater clarity and subtle insight. It encourages the practitioner to remain curious and patient throughout each cycle of exploration. When the journey concludes, the mind carries a quiet confidence in its own expansiveness. The practice leaves a lingering sense of possibility that extends beyond the moment of return. It invites continued inquiry into the nature of awareness without demanding final answers. Before any image forms, there is pure presence. In that stillness, intention takes shape as a shared current. When many minds align their focus, they weave a common field beyond individual limits. This field becomes a subtle space where experiences flow together like light through water. It allows participants to meet symbols, guidance, and each other without physical barriers. The quality of the shared field reflects the clarity and openness of the collective intention. When doubt or selfish desire enters, it distorts the fabric and weakens connection. Maintaining a simple purpose strengthens the bond between all who participate. You may notice that the atmosphere feels lighter, more expansive as harmony deepens. The practice invites listening for subtle shifts in feeling rather than seeking dramatic visions. As the field settles, it leaves a quiet imprint on awareness that can be carried forward. The quiet habit of daily return. Mastery grows when effort repeats day after day. It does not depend on occasional flashes of brilliance. Consistent practice builds depth that sporadic attempts cannot reach. Such depth shapes character and sustains skill over time. Good effort conditions the mind to trust steady progress. This trust reduces reliance on sudden success and eases pressure. Over time, the practitioner feels a quiet confidence that does not fade. The practice becomes a reliable foundation for all other growth. Each small commitment adds to an accumulating inner strength. Gradually, the need for dramatic breakthroughs fades away. The rhythm of daily return settles into the being. In this steadiness, the mind finds its own peace. When the world quiets, awareness already steps beyond the physical frame. Astral travel opens a doorway where personal identity meets deeper layers of reality. In that space, the boundaries of self dissolve, revealing patterns that extend beyond daily concerns. The experience reminds the mind that existence is not confined to a single viewpoint. Such insight can shift priorities, inviting a more expansive sense of purpose. The bridge remains open whenever the seeker returns to stillness. This opening invites deeper inquiry into the nature of consciousness itself. It does not demand belief, but offers a direct encounter with wider dimensions. Through repeated practice, the mind learns to navigate without fear. Eventually, the traveler integrates the vista into everyday awareness. The journey continues beyond each return. Silence settles like a soft blanket over the field. No words follow, only the space that holds everything as it is.